Hi, Ted. How are you?
I'm great, Atalia. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Where are you joining us from today?
So I'm just west of Boston, about 40 minutes. What about you?
I'm in Manhattan, the big city,
Nice. Very nice.
and happy to ask our audience to write here in the chat where you're joining from today so we can engage with you and see.
Definitely.
So, we are very excited to announce on our DataRobot AIX 2020 as we are celebrating 10 years of AI advancements. If you guys remember, we were founded in 2012. So this is very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. AIX 2022 is our probably our biggest and most impactful one yet. So I'm pretty excited for it.
Ted, you've been here a while, right? Tell us a bit about your journey and your background.
Sure. Yeah, so I actually was employee 27, left and then came back. So I've seen us early days. I was technically the director of customer success when we had no customers. And to see us now at the mature enterprise AI company that we are today is just an amazing journey. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so, like I was there when we racked our first customer. It was a big insurance carrier, and we took our first server over and we racked put the server in the rack. It was really an exciting time for us. And to see us now as big as we are and as successful as we are has been, like I said, a great journey.
Yeah, that's amazing. So for those who are joining us today, a bit background about Ted and myself. So Ted is our VP of Trusted AI here at DataRobot, and I'm Atalia, customer-facing data scientist at DataRobot. And a fun story, I used to be Ted's student. So actually, this is how I was referring to DataRobot a year ago. And since then, it's been a really interesting and a great journey.
Yeah, I want to ask you, you have a different perspective having come more recently to DataRobot than myself. So what fascinated you about DataRobot and brought you to DataRobot then?
So, as a data scientist, I think I was looking, as a technologist, I was looking for the best in breed product where I can deliver my customers like an end-to-end platform to accelerate their AI and machine learning lifecycle. So, I was very happy and excited about the technology, and I'm happy to see that it is helping for customers and that we are solving use cases, not just on a revenue side, but also some use cases around healthcare that we're going to cover a bit later with some of our customers. We're going to talk about this conference. So yeah, it's been amazing. And to share a bit about with our audience about the conference, the DataRobot AIX 2020. So we're going to do it in June 7 and 8, which every day will be around 90 minutes of your time. So it's not like a full day conference, very something you can accommodate. And you will hear from our customers on one hand, which in my opinion are the best reference for the platform, and from our experts, our executive, product team, and data scientists. And the conference will broadcast in 3 different time zones. So for your convenience, we will accommodate all of you. We're happy to ask the people who are joining us today on the DataRobot AIX 2020, what would you like to learn? Which topic you are mostly fascinated about? So we can make sure that we are covering it. Ted, can you share with us a bit about some of the customers that are going to be there?
Yeah, part of the journey and the reason I like the AIX 2022 is that it is worldwide, right? We have customers all over the world. And so one of the ones I'm most excited about is Shiseido, the skincare company out of Japan. And you don't, at least I didn't necessarily think that they would have a use for AI and ML, but certainly they do. And they're going to speak to how they utilize DataRobot. So, and they see it as like a strategic business asset. So it's like really exciting for me to hear from them, and I think that's what makes this interaction, this AIX, more engaging, right? It's not just going to be about us and patting ourselves on the back. It's directly from customers, so that's one that I'm excited about. The other one would be, as the leader of the trusted AI and explainability team, anything that where you're using this technology for good is important. Responsible use of technology and ethical use of technology is something that I'm very passionate about. So we're hearing from Phoenix Children's Hospital about improving children's healthcare using this technology, and that's great because it has a real a lasting impact to people. So that's another one that I'm very excited about. What about you?
Actually, there is a session with McLaren Formula One racing that I'm very excited about. And I went to my first race in Miami just a few weeks ago. And this is something really interesting to see how we can leverage AI and machine learning in racing, if it's to predict temperature on the track or lap time, those things that can really leverage the racing field it's very fascinating about, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a sport that I didn't realize was so data intensive, right? Like obviously aerodynamics and engineering and things like that, but I didn't realize on track how many sensors there are, how many choices they have to make kind of dynamically. It's a really great, challenging data science problem, and I think it's one that I think a lot of us are looking forward to as well.
Yeah, the art of possibility of AI. You never know. And I see here on the chat that people are joining from different places in the world. So very happy that we can broadcast our DataRobot AIX 2020 in different time zones. So please check our website with the right time and sessions that we're going to cover. So beside the customers that had just mentioned, we're going to have keynotes, 12 technical sessions, and educational resources that will be divided to 3 main tracks. So it depends on your expertise and your role in the organization and what you're looking for. We're going to have the data science track where you can hear about AI, power forecasting. Actually, it's my session. Code first AI, risk management, geospatial, business lead track like bias mitigation, which I think that is your session, no-code app to drive insights and business decisions. And the last track will be the AI cloud platform, where you can get a bit more depth on the DataRobot platform and end-to-end platform, talking about continuous AI, which is a very important topic about governance and risk and how to deploy at scale.
Yeah.
I'm really where we are looking to be.
I really like the aspect of sharing some of the wisdom we've learned over the last 10 years, right? It used to be that you would just create a model in a notebook and you counted yourself as done, right? But we've come so far in those 10 years. So hearing from our product experts like Natalie Buckland or data scientists like yourself who talk about it from a practical sense and talk about it not just as we put together a notebook and we built the model and our work here is done. But really, how do we deliver value? How is it governed? How is it behaving as expected? And that's kind of my session, talking about the governance and how you mitigate risk along that workflow. Those are the things that I'm super excited about for AIX 2022 is really around hearing from our customers, right? Because they've lived it, they're delivering value. And then the things that we've learned over the last decade, it's such a multifaceted problem to deliver AI ML that it really requires a lot of different perspectives. So I think it's great.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, we see today so many difficulties, especially environment. Like it's not enough just to take this notebook and just develop this model, right? Unless you like deployed it and iterate on this, and including continuous AI and retraining in order to make sure your models are still accountable. This is really where the journey of machine learning continues in order to drive business decisions.
You look at the dynamic world that we're in, whether it's the pandemic changed historical buying patterns, or you have supply chain disruption, right? Or security concerns. When you put a model into production, you have to monitor that model, but then you also, when it starts to deteriorate, know when to put a new model in. So I'm super excited about the continuous learning aspect and hearing from people talking about that who have those in production and are building the functionality for it. To me, that's something that will ensure you're delivering value for the organization. So that's something that I'm going to keep a keen eye on for sure. One of the other use cases that we actually didn't mention that was intriguing to me is around fraud detection with West Virginia, right? Because regardless of where you're at, let's say on the political spectrum, I think it's exciting to think about identifying fraud from a state auditor's perspective, more efficient use of taxpayer dollars, and using AI ML in kind of the public space is something that's like in its nascent stage, right? It's AI/ML has been around and is an evolving space, let's say in the private sector. But within the government space, I think there's a real opportunity to drive efficiency. What do you think about that?
I completely agree. It's really fascinating. And I see this going on with some customers that we are working with. So it's really exciting to see how getting those predictions from the model can really have an impact on your decision flow and the specific decisions you can drive from the output of the model.
Yeah, these things are never in isolation. They're always within some sort of process, some sort of decision, right? So when I had you as a student, that's what I tried to articulate. I don't know if it worked.
Well, it did. I'm here, right? Awesome. So very excited to see everyone that are joining here and looking forward to see all of you in our DataRobot AIX 2020. Feel free to check our website, to check our blog, to register to our sessions. Ted, do you have any other takeaways to our audience?
Well, I would just look for opportunities to engage. Penny wrote a really good blog post around 9 reasons to attend. I like that blog post. It definitely got me fired up. So check out that blog post and definitely attend and engage, because I think it's an opportunity for all of us to learn. I always think that this is such a impactful technology. We have a chance to do some real good, but in order to do it, we always have to compare notes. And that's kind of where these conferences can really add value to an organization. So that's what I would say, is just find those ways to engage.
Yeah, you never know what's out there in the market. Instead of like build it by yourself and like crack the head, just come research, learn,
Yeah,
yourself and open your mind.
Machine learning is a team sport. No one has all the answers, right? So let's all compare notes. Let's figure it out together. Let's put models into production. Let's add value. Let's help children's healthcare. Let's race faster. Like those are exciting times, you know?
Yes.
Great.
Awesome. So looking forward to see you all next week.
Yes.
7 and 8. Check your schedule based on your time zone.
I'll be there.
I'll be there too. Ciao, everyone.